Okay, Mid-Ohio. Um, I've been on iRacing for a while. I've somehow just not been on this track before. This is my first time. I really struggled at first. This is probably, for skips, this is probably one of the easiest tracks to overdrive. If you are stuck in the 36 or 137s, 138s, you're probably overdriving it. So start start trying to brake a little sooner, easing on the throttle, not stomping on it. Um, the description has my setup. I know a lot of track guides. 5.8, 5 SPO, 8 ARB is a pretty standard setup. Um, I use that for some tracks, but if you've watched other track guides of mine, you'll see I do change it up for the track. I find this is a 1 SPO and an 8 ARB. The car is just really smooth, it's really balanced, you just really feel the flow in the car, you're not fighting it. So if you're really stuck with your lap time, maybe it might be time to try changing the setup a little bit. So the track's 27 degrees, so it's cool. I think I've seen it up at 33 degrees, so take that into account. You may have to brake a little earlier, a little harder if the track is hotter and slicker. So we'll go lap by lap, or corner by corner in slow motion, and then run it at full speed. Alright, let's go. Coming up to turn 1, just before the 100, gonna just ease off the throttle, just a scrub of brakes, 4th gear, getting back on the throttle just to steady the back end. When it's lap 1, 2, 3, you may want to be in 3rd gear, just for a little bit more safety, so you don't spin out in turn 1 on lap 1. So back to full power. I probably was just a little wide here. I could have been a little tighter to this curb. You don't want to get on this curb. It will unsettle the car a fair bit. So be careful of that, but probably a little bit tighter than that. Probably lost a tenth. Running a little wide there. Exit out all the way out, unwind the wheel to this yellow curb. Don't get the tires on the grass, the dirt here. You will lose the back end, maybe a little bit or maybe a lot, and go flying. So keep it on that curb, but not go over it. You'll get a 1X as well. So coming up to turn 2, basically what I'm looking for is this tree when it gets to the edge of your view. So probably gonna say if there was a 150 board, that's where I would be using it. You can probably brake a little later to the 100 if you're good on the brakes, and good on you if you can, but you don't want to come in here too hot. If you run wide here, you're going to lose a lot of time struggling to get the car turned back in. So just putting on the brakes in 4th gear, braking down into 2nd. Pretty good amount of brakes. Again, you don't want to come in too hot here, and it won't show up, I don't think, here, but in the full speed one it will. Basically at the crest of the hill here, I'm shifting down into 1st. That's going to turn the car in quite a bit and let you get back on the power. So probably right around here, I shifted down into 1st, back on the power, and just turning the car into the curb here. You can take a little bit of this curb, but you don't want to take too much. You will lose the back end. I know people will run a wider line and then try and get a faster exit. I find coming in faster and a tighter line actually in the long run gains you a little bit more time. As well, when you're actually in a race, if you're taking the wider line and there's a car behind you, chances are they're probably going to go on the inside. So I think this is a safer bet. So you can see I'm shifting up into second here. So it's just first gear for a brief amount of time, just to turn the car in really. Back to second gear, and then up through the gears, up into fifth. Just unwind the wheel. You can use this yellow curb, but again, don't go over it. If you get that tire on the dirt, it's trouble. And obviously, making your way over, shortening the track. If there's a car behind you, you may want to stay to the right just to be defensive. So next turn, this is a really tough one. Lots of people crash here. So at the 300, I'm just starting to ease on the brakes, and then braking pretty hard at the 2. Shifting down into third gear. So I'm going to hold third gear into this corner. Pretty heavy on the brakes. Just releasing the brakes, trail braking, getting on the throttle, letting that back end hook up. If you don't get on the throttle here, your back end is going to get lost, and you're going to spin and go flying into that sand. This corner is really important. You can see the camber of it. You gotta get right up against this curb and use the camber to really carry as much speed as you can. If you're on the outside here, left of the dark patch, you're really gonna have to slow up in order to make this corner. So it's dangerous up top here. Your back end is gonna get real loose. So you can see, down here is the curb, and up here is the outside, and it's quite a difference in elevation. So third gear, back on the power, just letting the car run out here. Now this is at a big spot where you can really overdrive it. You can really get on the gas and go up this hill, but you're going to sacrifice a tremendous amount of time trying to make this corner up here. So it's kind of deceiving, but it's time to get off the power. I'm shifting down into second just to get some turn in on the car, and even a little bit of brakes, and getting tight up against this curb. You don't want to run wide. The track falls away from you. Your back end's gonna get loose. It's trouble. Nothing good's gonna happen if you run too wide here. And you want to get that car back over to the left side to really open up this next section, because you can actually lose a lot of time here. It's surprising how much time. Again, this one, it looks like you can get on the gas and really drive this one fast, but you will lose a lot of time. So, just a bit before this dark patch here, getting on the brakes, just to load up the front end. This is one corner where you actually want to take a pretty good bite out of the curb here, just to straighten the corner a bit. On the throttle, shifting up into third gear here, and again, this curb on the left is one that you can really be aggressive with as well. You can take all of it, you don't get a 1x, and it will drop your time off a little bit. So holding it in third gear, it's a blind corner. You want to kind of be just left of this middle of the track dark patch here. It'll take take just a little practice to feel it out, but stay just left of it, and then once you see the corner up here, just aim for it. Leaving the car in third, the revs are going to get up there pretty high, but shifting up into fourth is more short shifting, and it's going to cause some trouble. So just easing off the throttle here, aiming for the patch out here. You want to get just a little bit of your tire on the curb, just to open up this next corner. However, you don't want to get on the gas when your wheel's on this yellow stuff. It's pretty slick. So at full speed you'll see the tires, you hear the rumble of the tires on this, and as soon as that rumble is gone, get on the gas. You know, it's time to get on the accelerator, but you don't want to be hitting the gas when you're actually on this curb. You may lose the back end. So still in third, just trail braking. I'm off that curb now and on the gas. And again, this section here, you want to take a big bite out of this curb as well. There's no off track as long as you keep some rubber on the track. Just easing on the throttle. Again, you're coming over a hill, so the back end can get light, but if you take that curb, you're straightening the corner out quite a bit, and your back end should be a lot more stable. And use all of this curb. If you get your tire on the grass, you will get a 1X. So be careful of that. So coming up here, I downshift. So just around the 200 here, I'm off throttle, and right where the grass and the pavement jut out there, I'm shifting down into third and getting on the gas. And you want to, again, just take the edge of this curb. You don't want to get on it too much really, but really tight up against it and getting on the power. It's a tighter line than some. I know a lot of people run out wide onto the yellow curb here, but I find the tighter line is more consistent, because if you get on the grass out here, you're in big trouble. Third gear, and it also helps get your car set up for the next one. So in third gear, the revs are going to be screaming, and so there's these little openings here. So 1, 2, and 3. So at the second one or third one, I'm spotting as the braking. So getting on the brakes pretty hard from third gear down into second, and then just easing on the throttle as the car's turning in. This is a long corner, so you can actually get back on the throttle a bit once you've got the car turned in. Again, you can run a wider line out here, but if there's someone behind you, you know they're going to go on the inside. And you want to take a little bit of this curb. I could have probably taken a little more. I would have liked to have had the tire up on here, but back on throttle, holding it through this whole turn in second gear. I know some people shift down into first, but I find second, holding it in second, works best for me. Back on full throttle, and yeah, if I would have had a little bit more of that curb, I would have been over just a little bit more than I am, and could have straightened things out. Probably cost me a 1/10 or 2. Back on full throttle, and then just running up through the gears into fourth. And that is a 135.7. So we'll do it at full speed. Good luck out there. This was a pretty frustrating track, so just keep at it. Don't let the frustration get you. And we'll see you on track.